In this first we're going to see the console.group. So console.info is very similar to the console.log, so we'll just leave it. So the console.group is something which groups the elements in the console as a group. So for example, we'll just give the group name in the console.group, and we'll give the console.infos inside the console.group so that they will be grouped together while displaying in the console. The console.group end marks the end of the group in a certain console. So for example, I'll give another thing named as console.group collapsed by. Console.group collapsed by, it is very similar to the console.group. The one thing is that the elements inside that will be collapsed, so when you are able to see in the console, you'll be able to get what the console.group collapsed is. So we'll just give the console.group collapsed. So you can see it opens another group inside that one, and I'm going to give another console.info. So this particular console.info will go to the console.group collapsed. So now you can see when I open the console.group collapsed, this one opens and it is there inside that one. So we'll just put the control.group end at the end so that the group moves to the major group. So now you can see a group within another group in a console. So I'll put another console.info. So since the group end is being present only once, this will again go inside the main group. So you can see that it is still there inside the group only. So when I go again and I give another console.group end, just copy and paste this. So now you can see the groups have been separated, and because of this group and group collapse, you can actually set the group messages inside the console. So now we'll move to another thing which is actually a very interesting thing, that is console.time and console.timeend. So to demonstrate that, I'm just going to give one fetch for an API call. Some fake APIs are available in the internet, so I've used JSON placeholder /commands. So I'll just give it, and now we can see the response is being received. So I'll just give console.time at the start before the API call is being done, and console. And now you can see the actual time that is required for the API call to complete. So when I give some other thing named as photos, it is another API call. So now you can see the response time is being changed. This is in accordance with the data that is being received, so the time that is needed to display the data. So the another interesting method is console.table, which is used to represent the JSON format in a beautiful table. You can see the JSON placeholders are being there, and with the data being displayed in the form of a table. This is very helpful when you are working with JSON data, and this will work when you have a particular data which is being structured. So now we can see the table being present over there. So I'll just test it with the for loop. So the time that is being needed for the for loop to complete its execution. So see the time that is being displayed there. So that is about console.time and timeend. So the next thing that I'm going to discuss is console.count. This method just counts the number of times a particular variable or a value is being called. For example, here x is being called 5 times, so it's being displayed as 5 in the console. So we'll just remove that, and we'll go to another thing known as console.warn and console.errors. Are as the name tells, they are just warnings as well as error messages that you want to display to the console. And we just print the console.error here, and we can see the warning and the error difference there. And the next thing is we'll just go and create another method. I'll name this method as trace function, so that the next method that we're going to discuss is console.trace. It just traces back to which method is used for calling this particular function, like that. So I'll call this trace function there. So now you can see the trace function just returns the function name and then which function has called it, as well as the HTML from which it was called. So this is the usage of console.trace. And console.assert is like a conditional based statements that we can write within a console. For example, I'll just give a modulo function here, and in case if the assertion is wrong, it will just print the assertion is wrong in the console. And clear console.clear is another method that we can use to just clear the bulk data that is being loaded when the console is being showed to you. And the console.assertion comes in handy when you are going to give some document.getElement id that I'm going to try now. So my HTML has only one id which has the name of an id itself. So when the id is not there, it will just assert there is no id, like that. So some error is there, so I'll just make the corrections. So document.getElement still something is there. So after making the corrections, you can see that since I have an id like the id in the HTML, no assertion is being shown. So I'll change this to demo. So here it is showing there's no id, like that. So this is basically for console.assert, which is like a conditional statement inside the console. So that's it from the console functions. So I'll just give another thing like how to color your console. Like you can just give %c is just to give the color for your HTML. Like you can just specify the color, like I've given as white, background as red, and the font size as well as the font family. When you mention those refers to the first parameter in the console.log, that is %c, and the %s in the same thing refers to the text that is going to be displayed in the console. So and tada, thanks for watching.